Jimmy Fallon is no new to the spotlight, but recent events have taken everyone by surprise. Behind his trademark laughing and late-night charm, a serious issue has arisen, leaving more questions than answers. How did this adored television presenter end up at the center of a scandal that is rocking the industry? This story is full of surprising twists. Keep watching to find out what occurred and why it's making headlines worldwide. James Thomas Fallon, the son of Gloria and James W. Fallon, was born in Brooklyn, New York, on September 19, 1974. Fallon, who has German, Norwegian, and Irish ancestors, was up in a Catholic family. His father, who grew up singing in street corner doo-wop ensembles, subsequently participated in the Vietnam War. Fallon's family moved to Saugerties, New York, shortly after his birth, where his father worked for IBM. Fallon describes his upbringing as lovely yet overprotective, spending a lot of time at home with his elder sister, Gloria. Fallon's family background has some interesting anecdotes. During an interview on The Howard Stern Show, Fallon disclosed that his mother was formerly a nun. "My mum was a nun at one point. Bizarre, right?" he added, clarifying that her stint in the church was just about a week. After leaving the convent, she met and married Fallon's father, causing Fallon to remark that she married Jesus as her first husband. Co-host Robin Quivers joked, and then cheated on him. Interestingly, Fallon pondered pursuing a religious path himself. As a kid, he served as an altar boy and even considered becoming a priest. "I loved it. I really got into it," he said in the radio interview, but he conceded the desire did not endure into 8th grade. Reflecting on this moment at the New Yorker Festival, Fallon said, "I loved the whole idea of it." Recalling his brief consideration of the priesthood, Fallon famously said, "I loved dressing up. I loved the smell of incense," referring to his time as an altar boy. However, he gradually saw that his desire to become a priest had a showbiz undertone. "It was my first experience on stage," he said. "You're on stage next to the priest. I'm a co-star." When his ambitions of priesthood faded, young Jimmy Fallon turned his attention to the entertainment industry. During an episode of The Tonight Show, Fallon displayed his 8th grade yearbook, exposing a prediction made by his instructor regarding his future. The camera focused on a shot of Fallon sitting in front of a computer, reading the prediction aloud. "James Fallon will replace David Letterman on The Late Night Show." With a giggle, Fallon said, "I want to go to the racecourse with this teacher. Pretty close." By the time he reached puberty, Fallon had become obsessed with Saturday Night Live. He insisted on viewing each episode alone to ensure that he didn't miss any details. "I just didn't want anyone ruining my experience," he said, emphasizing his strong attachment to the performance, which would eventually play a significant part in his career. During an interview, Jimmy Fallon expressed how much he enjoyed Saturday Night Live. "No small talk," he stated. "I wanted to see the sketches, the new characters, and what the angle was." Despite the fact that he was underage, his parents were unexpectedly accommodating and let him to enjoy a few drinks throughout his watching experience. "I just sit by myself with a 6-pack of Pabst," Fallon said. "I don't know if I made it through all 6, but I just sit there, watch the show, and tape it." Fallon developed his talent for mimicking as a child growing up in rural New York. One day, his mother overheard a radio contest for the Hudson Valley's funniest unknown comic. "It was at Bananas Comedy Club in Poughkeepsie, New York," Fallon explained. "There were 2 or 3 minutes of sensations. My mother said, 'Jimmy, you should do this because you make all these sounds in your sleep and I can hear them.' And I was like, 'What else can you hear? This is creepy.'" Fallon opted to join after his mother encouraged him to do so. He created a routine in which he impersonated 12 celebrities contending for the position of Troll Doll spokesman. "And I won," Fallon explained. "A lot of money, around $500, for 2 minutes effort. I had been working since I was 13, so that was a lot of money for me," Fallon said. "I freaked out and thought, this is my future. This is it." The cold, hard truth was no, you don't make $500 every 2 minutes. Encouraged by his early success, Fallon started auditioning for talent events, eventually developing his stand-up talents. He ultimately got a weekend I would do stand-up, adding more voices, and eventually incorporating music. He joked. Fallon dropped out of the College of St. Rose at the end of his studies to pursue comedy full-time in Los Angeles. Initially, he slept on a friend's couch while establishing himself in the profession. Fallon took improv courses at the Groundlings and was grateful for the opportunity he had there. Among these was his first movie credit, a minor appearance as a photojournalist on the Michael J. Fox comedy Spin City. Interestingly, Fallon may have an unlikely person to thank for his break. During an interview on The Tonight Show, Chris Evans disclosed that he worked as an intern at the Spin City casting office in 1998. "Did I give you your first job?" Evans inquired, to which Fallon playfully answered, I feel like I owe my whole career to you. Fallon laughed about his audition, recalling that he did nothing exceptional. Evans, on the other hand, emphasized the arbitrary nature of the casting process, recalling having a massive stack of envelopes containing headshots and resumes on his desk at the time. His supervisor would take out 2 or 3 and throw the rest. And you're just like, wow, this industry is brutal, says Evans. Jimmy Fallon scored an audition for Saturday Night Live shortly after landing his Spin City position. Fallon claimed that he tried out for the comic strip in New York City, performing his troll doll act, but it was a complete flop due to the audience's negative reaction. He revealed that Tracy Morgan was ultimately picked for the program over him. Fallon returned to Los Angeles with the sensation that his goal had slipped through his fingers. 1 year later, he was asked back to audition, but this time he was told to remove the troll doll. Fallon described how he reworked his act and returned to New York to audition for Saturday Night Live. Despite being informed that Lorne Michaels seldom laughs during auditions, Fallon was overjoyed when his portrayal of Adam Sandler got Michaels laugh so hard that he buried his face in his hands. Fallon described the experience as bizarre, stating that he felt like he was flying as he exited the stage. Tina Fey also saw the audition and recalls seeing right away what Fallon might contribute to the show. He's one of the 2 persons I've ever seen who was absolutely prepared to be on the show. Fey informed Vanity Fair that Kristen Wiig is the other one, and Jimmy was ready, like, if there had been a show to do that night, one of Lorne Michaels. The first Saturday Night Live order was to prevent cast members from breaking character or laughing during a sketch, which had been a staple of the Carol Burnett show. Lorne Michaels, on the other hand, saw it as a cheap laugh ploy. Jimmy Fallon, on the other hand, became well known for his frequent onstage crack-ups, to the point where the act of breaking character has been dubbed Jimmy Falloning. While spectators appeared to love it, his co-stars did not always appreciate his giggling fits. This was especially true for Tracy Morgan, who believed it diverted focus from everyone else. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm the cute one, Fallon said during an interview. Fallon explained that he never planned to break character during sketching, but he couldn't stop himself. He stated that he always tried not to laugh and felt guilty when it did. However, his castmates, including Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon, began purposefully making him laugh, knowing he was an easy target. Fallon admitted that there were likely many drawings in which he broke character unnoticed, but a handful became legendary for his replies. Jimmy Fallon's brief experience as a model is one of the weirdest footnotes in his career. In 2002, he was cast in Calvin Klein print commercials. Fallon said that he was both shocked and happy to be approached to model for the company, stating that as a comedian, he never considered himself a model. Fallon stated he wasn't especially attractive, so the prospect seemed weird. Reflecting on the event, he joked about wanting the billboard to be put directly above the Improv Comedy Club. Fallon revived his commercial campaign in a 2019 Instagram post stating, "This was a great year for Calvin Klein." He also showed the photographs on The Tonight Show, where he likened his Calvin Klein campaign to that of guest Jamie Dornan. Dornan's advertisement showed the 50 Shades of Grey star flaunting his lean body while wearing only a pair of CK pants, whilst Fallon's advertisement depicted him fully dressed. When did Calvin Klein start making mechanics outfits? I couldn't have more clothes on, Fallon remarked. Fallon mentioned his ad on a separate segment of The Tonight Show when he was writing thank you cards. "Thank you," new Calvin Klein ad with Shawn Mendes, "for being the second hottest Calvin Klein ad of all time," Fallon exclaimed cheerfully as his ad came on the screen. Jimmy Fallon has been a performer for decades, and it's evident that he can't resist the need to amuse. In reality, according to several accounts, Fallon has been known to use his musical abilities on multiple occasions. One of such incidents occurred in 2013, when Fallon erupted into song at the Old Stove pub in the Hamptons, leading a rowdy sing-along of Billy Joel's Piano Man. Fallon performed a similar act while vacationing in the Bahamas. According to the Caribbean Journal, the comedian led a crowd at Nassau's Greycliff Hotel and Restaurant in singing Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, backed by a pianist. He then performed a second Queen song, We Will Rock You, before transitioning into a Backstreet Boys tune. It turns out that Fallon's enthusiasm for musical segments on The Tonight Show, such as the Wheel of Musical Impressions series, stems from the host himself. Nicole Kidman's 2015 interview on The Tonight Show was especially remarkable because she disclosed that she was previously interested in dating Jimmy Fallon, but he completely bungled it. It all started when a buddy called to say he was with Kidman, who wanted to meet with him about a possible role in her next comedy, Bewitched. Fallon confesses to panicking when his companion informed him they were just 10 minutes away. During the conversation, Nicole Kidman startled him by confessing that she once liked him. Fallon, clearly stunned, burst out in amazement, wondering if they had genuinely gone on a date without him knowing it. Fallon, according to Kidman, was a dud who barely spoke to her when they were hanging around at his flat. She then remembered how Fallon destroyed any semblance of romance that may have remained when he began playing a video game. It was bad, Kidman told the crowd, recalling how she opted to leave after around 90 minutes. I left and went, okay, no chemistry, she continued. I thought maybe he's gay. Jimmy Fallon's 2005 comedy Fever Pitch was notable for a number of reasons. The video not only chronicled the Boston Red Sox's first World Series victory in almost 80 years, but it also introduced Fallon to his future wife, Nancy Juvonen. Juvonen met Fallon on the set of Saturday Night Live in 2004, when she was there to support her closest friend, Drew Barrymore, who was hosting the show. Nancy Juvonen, a producer on the film Fever Pitch in Boston, developed feelings for Fallon. She subsequently told The Tonight Show that the close-knit atmosphere on set seemed like summer camp, and she admired Fallon's warm, playful, and music-loving nature. What actually won her over was watching Fallon connect enthusiastically with another producer's small children, which she described as melting her heart even more. The pair married in 2007 and have 2 daughters, Winnie Rose, born in 2013, and Frances Cole, born in 2014. Jimmy Fallon grew even closer to his wife and children as he presented The Tonight Show from home during the epidemic, with Juvonen manning the camera and his girls frequently appearing as guests. Jimmy's life was going well until his mother died, which destroyed him. He was crushed when his mother, Gloria Fallon, died following a fight with illness. The comedian canceled his NBC nightly show for a week to grieve his mother's death, which occurred with Jimmy by her side. Fallon paid tribute to his late mother on The Tonight Show, fighting back tears as he recounted a tale about her. When we were younger, my mother would bring my sister and me to the shop as we held hands. She would grip my hand 3 times and say, "I love you," and I would squeeze back, "I do too." Last week, I was in the hospital beside her, and I grabbed her hand and squeezed, "I love you," and I knew we were in trouble. Fallon recounted, his voice cracking. He went on to thank fans for their kindness and support after his mother's death. Fallon stated that everyone on the program will keep working hard to provide joy and laughter to the globe. He promised his mother, "Mom, I'll never stop trying to make you laugh." One of the show's producers also paid tribute to the late Gloria Fallon via Twitter. Mike Zoe referred to her as the best, and several of the production team members were heartbroken to learn of her passing. Jimmy's homage to his mother impacted many, including one of the show's producers. The producer praised Jimmy's statements, saying, "Mom, I'll never stop trying to make you laugh." They were moved to tears when they heard the words, "I love you." I was in tears. We were all the same, the producer explained. Jimmy Fallon was named in a lawsuit in 2021 alongside his former Saturday Night Live castmates Horatio Sanz and Tracy Morgan, as well as the show's founder, Lorne Michaels, in connection with allegations of sexual assault and underage grooming. The plaintiff, Jane Doe, described her encounters at different SNL after-parties, when she said Fallon presented her to Lorne Michaels and reminded him of her website. She said that Sanz improperly touched her at these events, and that Fallon and others were aware of what was going on. Although none of the defendants, including Fallon, spoke publicly about the matter, it was eventually dismissed without prejudice in November 2022. In September 2023, Rolling Stone released a bombshell expose based on interviews with more than a dozen past and current Tonight Show personnel. These employees, including production crew and writers who requested anonymity for fear of punishment, said that Fallon had created a terrible work environment behind the scenes. Rolling Stone claimed to have contacted an additional 80 current and former staffers, but none of them willing to talk on the record or had anything nice to say about working on The Tonight Show. According to the article, many people said that Fallon had a history of outbursts, frequently striking out at colleagues under pressure. Previous top staff members were accused of bullying and belittling employees, and the guests' dressing rooms were commonly known to as cry rooms, where employees would go to relieve tension. One former staff member noted that no one feared to say no to Fallon, and they were never sure which version of him they would see on any given day. If he was in a foul mood, the environment on set became uncomfortable, with personnel avoiding casual talk and remaining focused on their jobs to avoid causing any outbursts. When asked by Rolling Stone, Jimmy Fallon's representatives declined to comment on the accusations. However, an NBC representative responded, claiming that, like with any workplace, workers had voiced concerns. The spokesman also stated that such complaints were evaluated, and appropriate action was taken as needed. One former staff member told Rolling Stone that they would have appreciated an apology from either NBC or Fallon himself, believing it would have been the most accountable and responsible course of action, especially given the high turnover since Fallon took over The Tonight Show and the fact that many of those who spoke out were no longer with the show. Fallon finally spoke with his workers personally about the claims, stating, "It's embarrassing, and I feel so bad." According to others who talked with Rolling Stone, he continued, "I apologize if I humiliated you, your family, or friends. I feel so horrible that I can't even tell you." Despite the controversy, Jimmy Fallon's career is characterized by his distinct combination of wit, charm, and musical ability. He transformed late-night television by giving The Tonight Show a venue for both comedic and emotional moments. As a late-night superstar, he instilled a lively, accessible vibe into celebrity interviews.